Creation of Elepo app, part 7. In today's lesson, we shall create the periodic product supply report. First of all, we'll right click on the link for Management Studio on the desktop. We'll select Run as Administrator from the context menu. In User Account Control, we'll click Yes. So now I'll click Connect in order to connect to Management Studio. Now I will expand databases under Object Explorer. I will expand Elepo app DB. Under views, I only have system view. So I want to create a new view. In order to create a new view, I right click on Elepo DB and then I will select new query from the context menu. Now in the new query window, I'm going to type the following: create view periodic create view product supply report view as, then I'll press enter, then I'll right click on empty space, then I'll click on design query in editor. Now I'm going to select product supplies. I'll click add. I click close. Okay, after adding product supply, I'm going to add product suppliers. I'm going to add products. Let me click close temporarily. Okay, I think I have all I need. So I've added product supplier and product. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the link between product supplies and product suppliers table. Then I'm going to select all rows from product supplies. I'll also right click on the link between product supplies and products, and then I'll select all rows from product supplies. So the effect of this is to create a left outer join between product supplies table and the other two tables. Then I will select product supply. I will select supply ID, supply date from product supplies. Then I head over to product suppliers. I will select supplier name. I head over to products table. I will select product name. Then I will select quantity in liters. I think I'm good. Now the next thing I'm going to do to complete this query will be to create an alias for product supplier name. The alias I'm going to create will be supplier, simply supplier. The alias for product name will be simply product. Do I have any other field I would like to create an alias for? No, just these two. So the final query reads as follows: create view product supply report view as select product supply dot supply ID blah 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 from product supplies left outer join products on product supplies dot product ID equals products dot product ID left outer join product suppliers on product supplies dot product supplier ID equals product suppliers dot product supplier ID. Now I'll click execute to create this view. So if I go back to Object Explorer, I expand views. Let me right click on views, I click refresh, so we have the new view. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Radzen. So how do I go over to Radzen? I'll right click on Radzen link, and then I will select run as administrator from the context menu. In user account control, I'll click yes. Then I will double click on the Elepo app to open it. Now I'm going to close the congratulations dialog. After closing the congratulations dialog, I'll click on data. I'll double click on data. I'll make sure that I include the ASP.NET tables. Then I'll click on infer schema. Then I'm going to include the view that I've just created, which is product supply report view, and I'll click finish. I'll double click on my applications again. I'll click on my applications. I'll click on my applications, double click Elepo app again. Now I want to create a page that is based on the view I had earlier created in SQL Server. So I'll click on create new page. Now I'll click on CRUD pages, and I'll click on next. Now the schema will be based on product supply report view, but I'll change the name of the page to periodic product supply report. I don't need add and edit pages for this, so I won't check that. I'll click next. I want export to Excel and CSV. I want enable search as I type, so I click next. Now this is what I have. Then I click save. Now I'm searching for the new page. This is the new page I've just created. I double click on it. So lo and behold, this is the page. I'll right click on, I'll go to outline, I'll right click on the row, then I'll click on duplicate. So duplicating the row, will give me this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the controls in the second row. I'm going to delete them. Now I'm going to copy all the controls in the first row. Sorry, I'm going to cut all the controls in the first row. I'll paste them in the column on the second row. I'm going to right click on the column on the first row. I'll delete it. I'm going to search for one of my CRUD pages. I'm double clicking on add customer now. I want to copy some controls from add customer page. Okay, I'll click on customer label. I want to copy the columns for customer label and customer name text box. I'll copy that. After copying them, I go back to the report page. I'm going to paste the controls on that row. Now I'm going to change the text properties for this label. I'm going to change this to start date. Start date. I'm going to delete this text box. I'm going to delete the required validator. I'm going to head over to the toolbox. I'm going to search for date picker. I'll drop it in that column. Then I'll head over to properties. I'm going to change the name of this date picker to DT start date. Then for this label, I'm going to change the associated component to DT start date. I'll go back to outline. I'll right click on that row. Then I'll say duplicate. After duplicating, I will select this date picker. I will change the name to DT end date. The label, I will change the label, the text of the label to end date. Then I will change the associated control for this label to DT end date. Now I'll go back to outline. I'll go to the page level at outline. I'll click on events. Now I'm going to create two datetime variables. So I'll click on add event handler. So set action will be under select action type. I will select set property, and the property will be start date. The next thing to do is to set the value. So the value will be new system dot date time 1971, 1. This will create a new date time object for 1st January 1970. Then I'll click on add event handler again. I'll select set property. The name this time of this property will be end date, and I'll also set it to new system dot date time 1970 11. Now I'll click on this date picker. I'll bind the value to start date. I'll click on end date picker. I'll bind the value to end date. The next thing I will do is I'll go back to outline. I will select the second row. I will duplicate it. I will delete this label. I'll delete this date picker. I will introduce two buttons. I will introduce a button in the first column. I will introduce another button in the second column. I'll go to properties. I'll call this button btn display report. I'll change the text property to fetch report. This other button, I'll change the text to reset. Then the button style, I'll change to secondary. Now, the next thing I will do is I'll briefly run this project in Radzen. Until when I see code generation done, I'll click stop. Now the next thing I will do is I'll head over to Visual Studio 2022. I'll right click on it. I'll click on run as administrator in the context menu. In user account control, I'll click on yes. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open the Elepo app solution in Visual Studio. Okay, so I'll double click on the link for the Elepo app solution in Visual Studio in order to open it. For the web project meta, I'm not going to load it, so I'll click on do not load this project. I click continue. Click continue. So the solution is finally opened in Visual Studio. I'll go to Solution Explorer, so I click on Solution Explorer on the right hand side. So I'll click no in this dialog. Now in Solution Explorer we have periodic product supply report.razor. Right now I'm interested in the middle file. Let me close this window. Let me go back to Solution Explorer. Let me make it big a bit. Good. So I'm interested in periodic product supply report.razor.cs. So I'll double click on that file called periodic product supply.razor.cs. As you can see, it's just an empty class file. I'm going to create my first method here. Private async. Task. Update. Initial. Initial report start and end dates async. So I have my try. I have my catch. Section ex application service dot notify notification severity dot error ax dot message display error message for 7 seconds. Set report start date to set initial report start date to 30 days ago. So we are going to say start date equals date time dot today dot add this minus 30. Now set initial report end date to current date and time. So we say end date equals date time dot now. After creating this method, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to copy the name of this method. I'll click on copy. I'll head over to the outline of the page in Radzen. I'll go to the page level events. I'll click on events. I'll click on the load event handler, page load event handler. I'll click on the add event handler. Then I'll select execute C# for the new event. And the code I'm going to execute is the new method I've just created. I'll paste it, the method name. So I'll wait, update, initial report, start and end date async. Then I click done. Now I need to create another method to fetch report. Method to fetch report. Private async task. Periodic product supply report async. Try. I'm going to copy the catch block from the previous method and just paste it. Now let's go back to Radzen briefly. The grid on this page, on the product supply report page, the value when I go to, sorry, let me go to page level. I go to events. Now the second event at the page load is that we invoke a data source method called get product supply report views. This data source method actually executes the view that we created earlier on SQL Server. So in 2.1 we actually create a variable where we store the result of fetching the view data from database. The name of this variable is called get product supply report view result. Now the data of this page is actually bound to that property. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say that variable get product supply report view result will be equal to await con data dot fetch periodic product supply async. I'll pass in start date and end date as parameters. Now inside the data service, this method does not yet exist. So I'll click on debug and then I'll select generate method. The method has been generated. I click on the link to go to the method. Now the method is actually inside conDataService.cs. Oh, there's a little error. Let me go back to page events. The start date is not new. It's supposed to be system. It's not site. It's supposed to be system dot date time. So the system dot date time, or simply just date time. Now this method is inside conDataService.cs. I don't want this method to be overwritten by Radzen, so I will select this method. I'll click on cut. I'll go to Solution Explorer. Under services, I'm going to add a new class. I'm going to call it con data service dot custom.cs. So I click add. Oh, it says I already have conDataService.custom.cs. Okay, this conDataService.custom.cs. Okay, all right, I'm going to paste this new method that was generated in conDataService.cs. I'm going to change the signature from internal to public. I'm going to put in the async keyword. So I'm going to say list of product supply report view. The variable name will be report data equals new list of then I'll press enter. The next thing I will say is then I will say return await task dot from result report data. Try catch exception hex throw var report data 1 equals context dot product supply report views dot where p dot supply date is greater than or equal to start date, and p dot supply date is less than or equal to end date. Dot as queryable this report data 1 if report data 1 dot any report data equals report data 1 dot to list. Now I'll go back to this place. I'll copy the name of this method I created here, which is fetch periodic product supply report async. I'll go back to Radzen. I'll click on the button for fetch report. I'll go to events. I'll undo the click event. Under action type, I'll select execute C# and then I'll say await fetch periodic product supply report async. Click done. Okay, there was something I forgot to do. In the first method, I'm now going to I will update the first method to say get product supply report view result is equal to await fetch periodic product supply report async. No, I don't need to do that. I'll just call the method await fetch periodic product supply report async. Now method to reset the report page. Private async task reset page async. Try. Catch exception ex. Now in order to reset page async, I will just call this method on line 12. Await. So that's all I have to do. Now the next thing I need to do is to run the project. So I will hit the play here Elepo app button. So now I'm going to log in as admin. Let's look at product supplies. Okay, there are actually 3 products are supplied. One on the 2nd of, all the products were supplied in December. Let's assume that another product has been supplied, and that product was supplied on January 5th. And the product supplier is Demo Teach Lubricants Limited. The quantity supplied is 78. So let's click save. These are periodic product supply reports. Okay. Initially, the report start date. The initial report start date is from 11th of December 12 o'clock midnight to the current date and time. Now if we change the report date range to 1st of December and we click on fetch report, it displays more data. The data can be exported to Excel. Let me open it. So this is the report that is opened in Excel. Thank you for watching.